Hello, sorry for the poor audio quality. I'm recording this in my car. I just wanted to record this in one straight shot while I had it all in my brain right now, because I'm pretty sure I understand what's happening in the story of Silksong, and I didn't really see any videos up on YouTube. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't really see many videos up right now on this, so I thought I'd just throw my my opinion in real quick. Basically, I'm going to try to keep this short, though. Basically, in the old times before Farloom, right, these ancient, like, Cambrian isopods, they were, like, you know, all over the place, and the world was probably, you know, lush, or maybe there was some kingdom of theirs or something. It's very vague, but it seems like the surface was completely destroyed, and this is like a post-apocalyptic world of some sort. These aren't super important. I just wanted to add these before I get into the real, like, actual lore stuff, but it's some other stuff I noticed. And in addition, according to the world map, fun fact, it looks like Weavenest is actually, you know, directly west of Farloom, which makes sense because in the trailer you come from the left to the right. So to the left is the lands of Weavenest. So if you were to be able to go out that side in the blasted steppes, then you would be going towards Weavenest. So, to get into the actual lore, though, after these sort of Cambrian isopods and like centipedes and stuff were gone, or their time fell, or their age passed and Mr. Mushroom saw it, or whatever, then after that, what I think happened to them, at least specifically, is that they became the Marrow, and maybe even the Abyss, but that's for somebody else to talk about, because I don't really understand how the Void works. But aside from the Void, after these old gods, so to speak, were gone, then the Weavers came around, it seemed, after that. And it looks like the first Weaver was Grandmother Silk. At least all clues in the game hint towards that. She's said to be, you know, the origin of all silk and whatnot. So it seemed like after Grandmother Silk made her Weaver, like, you know, colony, the Weavers wanted to be freed from her control, because she just controls all of, like, the Weavers with silk. So they left and scattered across the other kingdoms. And in the cradle, you can see all the reports of, okay, we found this Weaver spawn in this area. We sent these troops to get it back. We lost this many units in the capture. The capture was successful, or the capture failed, right? And so what they're saying there is that it almost seems like, because this is information given to you at the end of the game, that the entire point of Farloom's existence was to build a kingdom strong enough to send armies out to reclaim the Weavers that abandoned Grandmother Silk, so that she can put them back into her control. So it seems like Farloom isn't even created necessarily for her to run a kingdom, more so for her to just retrieve her Weaver spawn. And the first sinner might be the first one to have left. That could have been a Weaver spawn that they, you know, went and fetched from one of the hints that we see, one of the reports we see in the cradle. So the other thing I wanted to say is the memoriam in the Citadel. It's obviously a variety of areas that are in Farloom. But the point of it is, because Farloom understands, or maybe just Grandmother Silk understands, but either way, Farloom understands that these areas around it get choked to death and destroyed by them. They understand that happens. And instead of trying to save those areas, because usually those areas become very hostile to them when they start destroying them, they just build a memoriam of them, try to keep containment of some life forms, and just remember it so that those areas still exist, as if they hadn't destroyed it. But you can't really do that. But anyway, the point of that is, right, they have a Karak area, an area we know is gone, an area that was once flush with water and life, but was probably destroyed by the building of Farloom, much like the other ancient kingdoms we go to, like Verdania and Shellwood. But Karak is gone, and yet they have a memoriam of it because they want to remember that area and its life forms and its environment that they destroyed. because they're all about sin and repentance, so this might be a form of repentance for them. And so, also, if we follow that logic, there's a Verdania section in the Memoriam, which they know they destroyed. And there's a Marrow section and a Mossholm section. These areas they expect to destroy in the future, it seems. So that's what's happening in that part of the story. Also, to explain, and I haven't actually beaten this boss yet because I haven't gotten there, but I've been spoiled on it, and I didn't really mind because I didn't expect to be able to beat it, but, so when Grandmother Silk helps you escape after the Lost Lace boss fight in Act 3, it's sort of a moment of like, why the fuck is she helping, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Because you're like, well, Grandmother Silk has done everything in her power to, you know, capture you and put you under her thrall. And yet, here she is helping you escape. What I think is happening here is that Silk didn't really care for Lace that much because she wasn't a real child of hers. In that Silk thought that, that Lace wasn't really a real child and she wanted her real children back. And at the end of Act 2, when you defeat her, and she goes to the Abyss and spends all of Act 3 in the Abyss, I assume the only thing she can possibly think about is how she did this to herself. And at the end of that Lace boss fight, when she sees an opportunity to save the only child she can at this point, even if it isn't a real child, she takes that opportunity and actually comes to care for and love Lace and want them to survive. Because before that, you know, Lace was just a dog to send and fight Weaver Spawn, to stop them from attacking her and to put them back under her control. But it seems like because of her experience in the Abyss, she managed to realize that she did care for Lace because it's the only child she could possibly have in that moment. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. I mean, there's going to be more stuff on, like, the Abyss and the old parts. And I feel like the story of, like, Verdania is pretty self-evident. I don't know that I need to explain that, but that's what I think is going on in this. Sorry if this feels like a bit of a rambling or if the audio quality is really bad, but I just wanted to make a quick video to throw my hat in the ring before this, you know, explodes. So, but anyway, I will be posting a 100% playthrough. It's super long. I'll be posting, like, large videos of that over the next month or two after I actually beat the game. I waited so that I wouldn't have spoilers in the comments, but yeah. See ya.